So the singer David, I don't know if y'all know, but so now they once again they trying to say he's a target. Now they say he's going to be arrested and stuff like that. Now they naming him as a suspect, and they already named this guy as a suspect already. But if you don't know, singer David, over these last 6 7 months, so he was on tour, and his Tesla car was home or whatever, but his Tesla car had a body in it. You know what I mean? And I guess the neighbors smelled something, not smell something, but his car was parked, it got towed, and then when it got towed to the junkyard, it was an awful smell. And next thing you know, they found the body in there. You know what I mean? And come to find out, allegedly it was his ex-girlfriend in there. You know what I'm saying? She was a young woman. I think she was like maybe 14, 15, and this guy's kind of older than her. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people saying, like, how the hell this girl get in your car? You know what I'm saying? And why are you on tour? But the thing is, this guy has not been arrested. Yeah, he probably been questioned, but then again, he got lawyers and stuff like that. And once again, this guy was on tour throughout this whole not throughout the whole almost the whole situation. He's not on tour now, but he was on tour. You know what I mean? And it's like he hasn't been arrested. Nobody really been arrested yet. I think somebody got arrested, but I think they just wanted to question him and see what's going on. A lot of things like, okay, who drove the car there? Who killed her and stuff like that? You know what I mean? So many questions that nobody really know. You know what I mean? So this is kind of a update on the situation about her case, and come to find out she was kind of chopped up. And let me see if I can get that. Let me see.
Breaking right now at 3, the death of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas is now being considered a murder. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm Annabelle Sedano. You may remember Rivas's body was found inside the front trunk of a Tesla owned by pop singer David. NBC4 Investigates just obtained some newly unsealed documents. Our investigative reporter Eric Leonard first broke the story back in September. He's been reading through those court documents and joins us live with what we know about the murder so far. Eric, and there's some shocking things in that filing.
Certainly unsettling. And it was a court hearing in Texas that has given us insight into this case that we ordinarily would never see here in Southern California. And that's because the investigation is still wrapped up in a secret grand jury investigation into the teen's death. These documents out of Texas say it is a murder case, that the pop singer is the target or suspect, and that the girl's remains were found in a horrific state. Grand jury subpoenas and documents that were filed in Texas show LA County prosecutors are investigating the death of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez as a murder. Those documents say David, whose legal name is David Burke, is the target of that murder case. Rivas Hernandez's remains were found in September when the Tesla registered to Burke was impounded. These new court records say Rivas Hernandez was found dismembered in the front trunk of the car, her remains in 2 different bags. Rivas Hernandez was last seen alive in 2024, and our law enforcement.
So she was cut up, and it was in 2 separate bags. Now I'm just finding this out. I'm guessing that is like they known this, the police officers, whatever, they known the technical stuff. They known this for months, and now we kind of just getting this information. You know what I mean? Because at first they say she was frozen. They say she probably was like drugged or maybe pregnant, but all that stuff was rumors.
Sources have told NBC4 Investigates they believe she died sometime in the spring of 2025. And again, the reason this became public now is because Burke's mother, father, and brother filed a legal challenge to those subpoenas for their testimony and tried unsuccessfully to get a judge in Texas to block the enforcement of the LA County court order. So the LA County grand jury investigation has been something of an open secret around LA, with various witnesses being brought in to testify about the death. But this is the first time we've seen in black and white court filings that her death is considered a murder and that Burke, known as David, is the named suspect. Someone we believe to be his defense lawyer has not returned any of our calls. Reporting live, I'm investigative reporter Eric Leonard, NBC4 News. Back to
Yeah, man. So once again, this whole case, man, this case. Sorry about that. This case is wild. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like his girlfriend Celeste was found in his car, dismembered. You know what I mean? While he was on tour. And me and other people was like, well, he probably did it. You know what I'm saying? He probably did it. But then again, it's like we don't know if he did it or not. You know what I'm saying? Like, they already said this months ago that this guy is a suspect. You know what I mean? Now they saying he's a suspect again. You know what I mean? So which one is it? Is he a suspect or is he not? Y'all gonna arrest him or not? You know what I mean? Y'all got all this information. Why haven't nobody been arrested yet? You know what I'm saying? Why this guy haven't been arrested yet? Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say, oh, y'all need to arrest him, but if he did it, then yes, he damn sure need to be arrested. You know what I'm saying? Because she died of a horrific crime. You know what I'm saying? Being cut up and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Why did they kill her? You know, so this case has been crazy these last few months, and wow. And I'm still kind of, you know what I'm saying, mind boggled, like, what the hell is going on? You know what I mean? Crazy situation, man. But listen, tell me what y'all think about that situation, yo. So that's where we at with that case, man. We just don't know, like, if anybody gonna be arrested. Now he's a suspect. They said that months ago this guy was a suspect. Shit is crazy, man. It's crazy and it's confusing. You know what I mean?
No charges. Well, there have been arrests, but not in connection with the actual, let's say, killing of Celeste or the removal of her body. There was an arrest in terms of somebody being brought there to testify. But here's the big part. You've heard reports of a grand jury being impaneled. You've heard reports of David being considered a suspect, but nothing official. There has been so much that authorities haven't been revealing about this investigation. But right now, Steve Fisher, the private investigator who had been investigating this case on the ground, demanding justice, who may have testified in front of the grand jury himself, by the way, although we can't officially confirm that. And by the way, he represents the owner of the house where David was reportedly staying near where the Tesla was found. He just dropped not only huge bombshells about this case on X, but he just gave us 150 pages of court filings that have revealed a lot of new information. We have learned more about Celeste's body, and we have learned that there is a real case against David for murder. So let me lay out first what he posted on X, and then we'll discuss the actual filings. First, Steve wrote, in a petition for attendance to compel David family members to appear before a grand jury, it's disclosed that Celeste Rivas Hernandez's head and torso were found in a cadaver bag, her severed arms and legs in a second bag. David Burke, meaning David, is the target of the grand jury for one count of murder. And
That's crazy, man. Like, that is crazy right there. Damn.
you read from the screenshots that he posted, and we'll talk about this more from the actual filing. People of the state of California v. David Burke. Nathan Hochman at the top, so that's the LA County District Attorney. Beth Silverman is the Assistant DA. We've mentioned her too, so this is confirming there is a real case. They are the prosecutors, including her. Saw her coming in and out of court before. And then the filing states that there is now pending in the Superior Court of the County of Los Angeles the above entitled grand jury investigation by the state of California against target David Burke, wherein target may be involved in having committed the following criminal offenses against the laws of the state of California, to wit, one count of murder. This is big. This is big because it was always a question of whether or not they were really investigating him and gathering evidence regarding a murder charge. And when I looked it up, when I looked up that penal code under California law, murder is the unlawful killing of a human being or a fetus with malice aforethought, basically an intentional killing. So while there were theories out there that, let's say, Celeste had died as an accident, let's say Celeste died from a drug overdose and there was a panic and there was just an instance of trying to dismember her body or dispose of her body or hide her body. Remember, at one point you heard from authorities maybe there was nothing beyond just the removal of her body that was being investigated. Maybe that was the only charge. Not the case. Now they believe they have enough evidence to support a murder charge, that he intentionally killed her. And then it goes on to say how you have the three witnesses summoned by California are DeWood, Colleen, and Caleb Burke. So his dad, his mom, and his younger adult-age brother. And the information that's attached to Steve Fisher's tweet is in reference to DeWood Burke's court paperwork, and it says, quote, that if DeWood Burke comes into the state of California in obedience to a summons directing him to attend and testify at said grand jury investigation, the laws of the state of California and of any other state through which he may be required to pass by the ordinary course of travel to attend such proceeding shall give him protection from arrest and the service of process, civil or criminal, in connection with matters which arose before his entrance into said state pursuant to such summons. that DeWood Burke is an adult, that the prosecution will provide the witness a round-trip airplane ticket and transportation to and from the airport, wherefore it is requested for on behalf of the state of California that Your Honor certify to the above and foregoing by the issuance of a certificate thereto under the seal of the Superior Court of Record in the state of...
But listen, tell me what y'all think about that situation, yo.